Jane was a small girl. She lived in a cozy, quiet village. The kind of village where everyone knew your name, and knew your dog's name too. Jane had a secret, a wonderful secret. It lived in the night sky. She loved the stars more than warm bread, more than her favorite blue ribbon. Every night when the sun tucked itself away, Jane felt a pull towards the darkness, a pull towards the light of the faraway stars. She had a special hill, her hill, just outside the village. Every evening she would climb up the grassy slope. The village lights would grow small below. The world would grow quiet, so very quiet. Jane would sit, she would wrap her arms around her knees, and she would look up at the velvet sky, at the diamond dust scattered across it. This was her favorite time, her most special time. Here she wasn't just Jane, she was Jane, the listener. How did she listen? Not with her ears, no. The stars were too far for spoken words. She listened with her heart, with a quiet part of herself, a part that understood shimmers and glows. The stars were her friends, her silent, shining friends. They knew her, just as she knew them. They had stories to tell, old stories and new ones, stories made of light. Jane felt them deep inside like a warm hug on a cool night. The stars talked in flashes, bright, quick winks of light. Sometimes a long, slow pulse, like a gentle heartbeat. Each star had its own voice, its own way of shining. Jane learned their language. She understood their twinkles, their messages of joy, or sometimes a soft, faraway sadness. It was a conversation, a beautiful, silent conversation between a small girl and the vast, endless sky, a secret shared just between them, under the watchful moon. One night something was different. Jane climbed her hill as always. The air was still, the grass was cool beneath her feet. But the sky felt heavy. There was a quietness, but not the peaceful kind. It was a sad kind of quiet, a hushed kind of worry. Jane looked up. Her star friends were there, but their light seemed softer, a little dimmer than before, as if a veil was drawn over them. Jane's heart felt a little pinch, a little tug of concern. The stars began to speak. Their flashes were not as bright, their pulses were slow. So slow. They told Jane their trouble, not in words, of course, but in light that trembled. A story of something missing, something important. A whole family of stars, a constellation, was lost, vanished from its place in the night. The sky felt emptier without them. The other stars were lonely, their light was diminished. They missed their brothers and sisters of light. The world felt a little darker that night, truly darker. Without the lost constellation, a patch of sky was bare, like a missing tooth in a smile. The familiar patterns were broken. The night's gentle glow was lessened. Jane felt the stars' sorrow. It settled over her like a thin, cool mist. She understood. When a friend is lost, the world changes. It becomes a little less bright, a little less whole. The magic felt a little bit faded. Jane sat there for a long time. The wind whispered around her. It seemed to carry the stars' sadness. She looked at the dark patch. She looked at her shimmering friends. Their light pleaded with her. Jane was small, but her heart was big and brave. She could not let the stars be sad. She could not let the night stay so dark. "I will help," she whispered to the sky. "I will find them." Her small voice full of a big promise. So, Jane decided, she would go. She would find the lost stars. The big dark forest lay beyond her hill. People in the village said it was full of shadows, full of secrets, not a place for a little girl, especially not at night. But Jane was not just any little girl. She was a friend to the stars, and the stars would guide her. She took a deep breath. The air smelled of pine and damp earth, and a little bit of courage. She stepped into the trees. The forest was darker than she imagined. Tall trees made a roof above her head, blocking out some of the starlight, but her friends, the stars, peeked through, showing her the way. A shimmer here, a gentle pulse there, guiding her small feet. Twigs snapped under her shoes, an owl hooted far away, shadows danced like spooky giants. But Jane kept thinking of the lost constellation. She thought of the sad, dim light of her star friends. And she walked on, bravely on. She walked deeper and deeper still. The forest was old, very old. The trees had wise faces in their bark. Moss grew soft and green on rocks. Jane followed the brightest star. It pulsed steadily, like a calm hand leading her. She felt a strange feeling, a feeling of ancient magic, like the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting. She knew she was getting closer, closer to something important, something hidden for a long, long time. And then she saw it, A clearing, not made by axe or hand, but a natural, gentle opening in the heart of the deep woods. And in the center of the clearing stood a circle of stones, tall stones, grey and silent, covered in soft moss. They looked like they had been sleeping there forever. A deep peace filled the clearing, a quiet, knowing peace. Jane's heart beat a little faster, not with fear, but with wonder. The stars above seemed to hum a soft song. The stone circle felt special, magical. In the very middle there was a small pool. Its water was dark and perfectly still, like a sheet of black glass. Jane remembered the star's message, a soft shimmer that had told her what to do. She walked to the edge of the pool. She reached out a small hand, and she touched one of the ancient stones. It was cool and smooth and seemed to vibrate with a tiny old energy. She held her breath. As her fingers brushed the stones, something happened. The surface of the dark pool rippled just once. Then it settled, and in its still dark depths, a light began to glow. Softly at first, then brighter. Jane gasped. Reflected in the water, clear as day, was the lost constellation. Its stars shimmered and danced, not in the sky above, but held safe in the heart of the pool, like a secret treasure found at last. The stars in the sky seemed to sigh with relief. Jane understood then the constellation wasn't truly lost, it was just hidden, waiting for someone to find it, waiting for someone to remember its story. She looked up at her star friends. They twinkled happily. "I will tell your stories," Jane whispered to the pool, "and to the sky I will tell everyone in the village about the lost stars and about all your other tales." She promised to be their voice, their storyteller, so no star would ever be forgotten again. And as she made her promise, the stars in the sky blazed, brighter than she had ever seen them, so bright. They filled the night with a joyful, silvery light. Jane returned to her village, her heart full. She told them everything, about her journey, about the stone circle, about the stars' stories. The village listened. They looked up at the brighter sky and they smiled. Jane became their storyteller, the keeper of starlight tales. And every night the stars shone down, sharing their magic with everyone.